Hello, this is Cuckoo. Today I want to show you something about the Analog Rytm MKII Part 2. This is a really good drum machine, and today I want to show you how to sample, because of the new Mark II you can sample straight into it. And I was confused at first because there is something called external input and there is something called audio input, and you cannot sample through the external input. This is like an analog pass-through. It's not really pass-through, it goes through the end compressor and stuff, but there is no pickup here, so you can't sample. But on this one, audio input, you can sample. So everything you want to sample, stick it into here. Yeah, and then I want to show you how to do polyrhythmical sequencing. A lot of people are asking about it, and although it might not be very clear at first how to do it, it's not very difficult. It's about how to set individual lengths for each of the tracks, and also with conditional trigs that can also help making like randomized or inconsistent patterns musical. Yeah, okay. So what else? Yeah, I wrote a list here. Yeah, the quick performance. Yeah, quick performance is very, very nice for live performances, and I'm going to show you how to set it up in a meaningful way, and then perhaps also, if I've got time, to just touch briefly upon how to use the quick performance in song mode, because song mode is something that typically you want to use when you've got your hands full and you want a arranged song to just keep going and play the song just as you composed it. And then it's really great to have this quick performance expression available through that song playback. So yeah, let's go through these things and make a little video and have fun. Let's hang out. Yeah, let's do it. Okay, so the Analog Rytm MKII, one of the biggest features of this Mark II unit is that you can sample. And let's do that. Let's do it straight away. And as I mentioned, the external input and the audio input are two different. This is the analog pass-through. It goes through to the maximizer distortion thing, but there is no pickup. You can't sample this. Although you can sample the master, so you can sort of sample sound coming into here, but it's in the master. This, however, is going to be sampled straight away. So let's do that. Okay, let's sample, like, for instance, remove a little hair there and wipe off the dust. The OP1. Okay, this goes into audio input, right and left, I presume. And even though there is right and left input here, what you're sampling is going to be a mono file, so not stereo sampling. Although you can sample stereo content, you can also sample just the left or just the right. And how to sample? Well, first of all, let's see if there's sound. Happens to be sound. You can set it not to monitor the incoming signal. Let's try it. So this little button here is just as on the Digitact, and if you've seen the Digitact, you'll notice now, oh, it works exactly the same, and yeah, it does. The only thing that's different here, let's turn on this. This is the sampler. The only thing that's different is that you can actually sample each channel individually. So that is unique to this machine. Okay, let's see here. So we've got 3 parameters here. We've got like a meter there. Yeah, incoming signal. I don't think there is a gain in the machine, so you need to send the proper gain signal into it. So yeah, this is good. So let's sample a couple of chords. Okay, so I'm gonna load a different kit here. Kit 2. Yeah, kit 2 is loaded. So now kit 2 will be affected. Okay, let's go in there again. So you notice that straight away I made like a little preparation just so that I wouldn't destroy a kit. and that is quite crucial actually on the Analog series and many of the Elektron series. The kits, if you destroy one kit that is being used somewhere else, then you can mess things up. But on the Digitact, they moved to a different kind of different way of handling kits. So on the Digitact, every pattern has its own kit, whereas here a kit can be used in multiple instances. Good to know, good to know. Okay, sampling, let's do it. We can see it. The fastest way here to sample is to just, as you can see, yes means arm, function plus yes means start recording straight ahead. You got this note here. This is the threshold, and you can see here when you can see this little bar there. So if I press yes, I arm this, and now it started to record actually. Let's stop it and discard this function and no. I wanted to show you how to arm it, so let's move the threshold a bit higher. Okay, so when I press yes now, it arms it, so it's ready to record whenever the threshold is passed. And what happened before was that the threshold was a bit low, so even though the little noise coming from the OP1 was enough to trigger the recording. So now it's just waiting, armed. Okay, so let's record a couple of chords. You can see that, right? Okay, yes to stop. You can see it started to record straight away. It's very, very convenient. And so we can see here it normalized the recording. And if you notice too, you can see there was like a, what was it, a 32-second recording buffer or something like that. I think so, 32. Yeah. And the recording buffer is 32 seconds, and the sample memory on the Rytm is about 12 minutes. So every project you can handle quite long samples actually, and there are 127 slots for samples, and in total they can make up 12 minutes of audio in mono. Or is it 11? I think it's 12. Yeah, 64 megabytes. But on the disk, it's like 1 gigabyte of storage, so you can store much longer audio files, much more audio files there. Okay, here we are. This is the sample buffer, and if we want to just preview what we just recorded, function and yes. And if you notice, you can see this is flashing with the amplitude. So what that means is that this sound is actually being played back through one of the, gotta remove a little hair there, yeah. It's being played back through the active track, and select another pad, functioning yes to preview the sound buffer, the recording buffer, and we can see that it's being played through here now. So let's edit. We got these to edit. This, you can see there's like a left and right little window here, and you can scroll, starting point there. You can also zoom, and the same goes for this one. You can zoom and scroll, and if you want to scroll faster, you can push and scroll. So there you go. So this is yeah, start and end point. Yeah, there you go. Let's press yes here, and it crops it, and let's press yes again to save it. Let's call this, you know, you can see this keyboard here, right? So you're gonna name this, and now we're gonna save it to the disk. I'm gonna call it yeah, let's call it Pix, and instead of writing this every time, I'm gonna copy this now, because I'm gonna save a few of these. Copy, and then add number 1, Pix 1. Okay. Do you want to assign this to a track? Yes, hit a pad to assign it. Let's assign it to this one. I often assign samples to this one because this is not the most exciting analog sound, and it's also isolated it's not shared with anything else. So sometimes I tend to use this channel for samples. Okay, so now, well, it's not there, even though I assigned it to this one. Where is it? I'm gonna hit no here to exit the menu. Just because I assigned that sample to this slot or to this track doesn't mean that it's, you know, that it's ready to be played. Now actually, if I go to the source here, I can see that the analog engine the level is up. Let's turn it down. And the sample engine, well, the level is 0. Yeah, there you go. And we can see this here, the sample slot number is 10, and I've got some previous samples in this project, and it just put the sample on the first free slot. So there it is, and assigned to this one. Nice. Okay, let's go back here. You can see this is now green. It means that the recording buffer has something in it. So if it's black or not lighting up, it means it's empty. Push it again, and you can see that even though we cropped it, we're back to where we started, the uncropped full recording. So now I could go ahead and track over. Yeah, find another one. There you go, and like so. I'm using the zoom here. Output, input, output. So cool. Yeah, let's do that. There we go. Save it, and now I'm gonna do this function and paste. I pasted the name that I copied previously to save some time. X2. Yes, saving. I'm going to assign it to the same one. So what happens then is that now it's the sample slot is set to 11 there, you can see. It means it put the sample on the free slots again, and there it is, and selected it. Cool. Yeah, let's keep doing this for the chords. And the reason why I'm doing it on one track is that perhaps I got like drums and stuff going on the other tracks, and then this one is going to be programmed to have some samples. Okay, so back here, next one, there you go. Yeah, yes, paste, 3, yes, save. And now I don't even exit, so I'm still in the same crop window here. Yes, the same. Let's say I'm satisfied now. Now, if I press no, I just close this recorder, but the buffer is still full. If I, however, press function and no, I discard what's in the buffer. So only do that if you know that you want to discard it or sample again. So let's do that. Function and no. It's gone. No. So now I exit the recorder, and you can see it's not lit up anymore. Cool. So now we've got a bunch of samples. So what can we do with a sample? On the sample page, we've got starting point, end point. And these could be reversed, so starting point can be after the end point, then it becomes a reversed playback. The tuning, it can go to +24 or -24. And fine tune, okay. Yeah. And bit crush, bit reduction. And yeah, loop. So for how long does it loop, you might ask? And that's a good question, thanks for asking. it loops forever, really, and but it's dependent on the on this amp envelope. And one thing I just want to mention is that this is an analog machine. That means that all of these analog sound engines, they actually keep playing, and if the decay is set to infinite, they might leave a little trace of noise, like a bass noise, or like a little trace there. So don't have them on infinite, because in the mix, if you're recording and you're watching the levels and the spectrums and stuff, you can see that, oh, there's something strange going on that you can't really hear, but you could see it in the levels. Or and often I find myself, oh, it's because a lot of tracks are set to infinite length, so don't do that. So this one, on the sample, let's see, loop again. Yeah, it's nice. Yeah, okay. So now we've sampled a couple of samples, and what I want to do now is to go back to that I was showing you earlier. This one. It's just a nice little thing here. I can actually sample this. I can. So let's try and see what happens. Let's see. I'm just gonna see it. Okay. I'm not using this one. I might use it for the sampling. Okay, so let's go here to the sampler, and I can set the input, the source here. I could set audio left, audio right, so I could sample. I could use it as a 2-channel, kind of select which channel I want to sample, and then when I keep going, we can see, oh, just the snare drum. Cool. Well, these are not sampled now, just the snare drum. Great. And then the rim shot and clap, they share the same analog engine channel. The bass tom, ooh, low tom. So for instance, this sound, it's actually a very clean sample, but I treated it with some reverb and some analog filter to kind of soften it up. I've made some adjustments in that. So what happens if we sample it? Let's try that. Okay. This is called resampling. I'm sampling the stuff that is already in here. Okay. Okay, so let's resample this and see what we get. And yeah, press yes to rec, yes, and yes to stop. There we go. Now let's listen to this. Now you could hear that it sounds dramatically different. Now why is that? It's because the same sample we just sampled is being played back on the same track with the same settings. So if we move the focus to another track, we can hear, oh, it's the reverb. Where's the reverb? Well, the reverb is on the master. It's mixed in the master, so reverbs can only be recorded if you're recording the master. But it sounds nice though. Yeah. So let's try to record the master. Okay, I'm going to discard this function and no, and then we're going to move this to main. Okay, let's record it. Yes, and stop. So let's listen to this now. We can hear that it's been recorded, but it's also been converted to mono. So the reverb is there, the quality of the sound is there, it's normalized, but it's in mono. So we lose that atmospherical stereo touch, but yeah, so that's just how it is. Nice. Okay, so if we press play here, we could actually record a whole little thing there. Let's go here again, discard this, and press yes to arm this, and yes. Okay, let's see what we've got. Adjust the mirror. Yeah. And then I could start, you know, picking out the little bits and bobs that I want. Like, oh, that was a nice, something nice that happened here, maybe. I'm gonna zoom out some. Like combined, for instance. So you can resample and stuff, but this is not a way to process stuff in real time. So let's see if you can also, like right now we can't hear this because we set the direct input, we set the input source to main. So let's dial it back to, there you go. So now essentially we've got 4 inputs: the analog input that goes straight to the master, and then the audio input that you can sample. So is this also affected by the master? Let's see. So let's go to effect, which is the master strip, and go to delay, reverb, distortion. Let's see if this audio input is also going through the distortion here. Let's see. No, no, no. Now I'm super aggressive here with the distortion, but nothing happens. But with this, I think I need to turn this down. So this is not affected by the master strip. Yeah, so that's samples, and of course there's one question remaining. Where are the samples? I mean, they're in the project, but they're also on the disk. So let's take a look at the disk now. Press this button, go to samples, and I'm gonna exit this. There is a file structure here, like a very regular file structure, and there is one little folder there called recorded. Let's open it. Like, you can press yes to enter, and we can see there the ones that I just sampled, picks 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They're right there. Yeah, so they end up on the disk, and as you can see here, this is an indication of what files are used in the current project that you're in now. So these are marked, and if you're in another project, they will be marked only if they're used in that project. So if I'm feeling like, yeah, okay, these were good, let's move them to a secure place. Okay, you could do that right here. So I'm going to do this now. Select, 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 and then press the right. So you can see there are 2 action menus here, like the action menu and the option menu. So the right one, you see these small little arrows there. Right one is the action menu. Select for move. And okay, exit this, and let's make a new folder here. Create directory called picks. Picks. Oops. And there we go, a little directory. Enter it, and here, let's see. No, on the action menu there is nothing that says move them here. On the option menu there is this move here. You can see that we just moved there. So let's in fact go back to the recorded and see, yeah, they're gone, they're not there anymore, but they're in fact moved here. Very good. So this is sampling and resampling. It's not difficult, it's I think very straightforward, but to do it live is a bit fiddly, because you need to make sure that the editing process is fast. So sample and stop sampling just the sound you want, for instance, and then immediately save it, then you're good to go. But if you're sampling a long thing and you're gonna pick out stuff, you might end up using a bit of time in a live situation. So if you want to sample live, make sure to really practice and get fast with it. So what about polyrhythmical sequencing? Yeah, let's make an example of that. So okay, in order to make polyrhythmical patterns, you need to set the length of each track individual. So for instance, if the kick drum is like this, you can see it's 16 long. And if I want to make something individual to that, I press function and page, and you can see this, it says norm. We're in normal mode now. In normal mode, all of the tracks share the same length. And so if I add a page here, you can see it's now 32 trigs long. All of the tracks have that length. But if I press the left arrow here and come to this side, press down to access the advanced mode. Actually, first I'm just gonna set it down to 16 again. Go there, down, advanced. We can see we've now got we've got a bit more options here. So there's the kick drum. On the kick track, it's selected like this, and we can see that track 1 now is 16 bars long, and the master can be set to something else. So what that means is that if now the kick track is like 10 long, for instance, we get some unexpected results here that I'm going to explain. And just going to exit this. We can see, first of all, now it's just 10 steps long. So it goes here, oops, and then restart. But then you could, if you notice, it restarted again once it reached here. And the way it works is that it's now 10 steps long, and it's going to repeat those 10 steps. But when the master counter reaches 16 steps, it's also going to restart all the tracks. So if we truly want a fluid, I mean this is cool, because then you got some sort of control of when to restart everything, and also an additional factor that sort of messes up the polyrhythmical patterns. But if you truly wanted to just keep going and going and going, you can turn this to all the way to 1024, I think, and then come to infinity. So infinite. Now it's just gonna restart like this. Okay, so to make something musical out of this, let's say that kick drum is actually straight. Dum, 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 dum. Okay, kick drum is 16 long. How about this then? This could be selected. It's a bit long, so I'm just going to make it shorter here. Length, oops, length. Now it's also 16 long. So what about making the snare track now 14 long instead? First time, second time. You can hear it's kind of offsetting itself every time. How about 15? Now it offsets just one trig every time it loops. How about this? To make a little okay, too much reverb. Okay, let's make it 8 long. Boring. Let's make it 9. Oops. Okay. So now we've got three sequences here of different lengths. First one is 16 long, second one is 15 long, and the third one is 9 long. If we now want to add a different layer of kind of unpredictiveness, then we could use trig conditions. So for instance, this track, it occurs a bit too frequently, so let's press it and go to trig and say that we just want it to launch, have like a 25% chance of triggering. Or we could use the numbering. We could use this. Let's say we trigger it every second time. Or every third time. Maybe this as well. We could say every second out of 3. Okay, so let's make a little sequence here. So that this is let's say that this is straight. First we play this, and then we play another sound sample. Yeah, this one. So let's use trig conditions again. This is played every second out of 3. This is played every first out of 3. And then another one played every third out of 3, which is using this one. And we could actually make this a little longer, so 22 long maybe. And we could, oops, you can see that when we're making it longer, some trigs transfer from page 1 to page 2, so just keep that in mind. Okay, I'm gonna live record this one. It's really lame. Okay, I'm just gonna do it manually instead. So let's make this. Yeah, so I don't know, it's not the best example in the world, but you get the idea, right? Set the individual length of the patterns and use the advanced mode, and yeah, that's it. Okay, so the quick performance and the quick performance amount, and a button and a knob. How do we use it? First of all, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 12 different performances, and if you're coming from the octatrack, you kind of try to see it as scenes, but it's almost like scenes, but in a different way. They can be active at the same time. On the octatrack, it's 2 scenes, you can slide between them. On this, it's 12 scenes, and they can coexist at the same time to this amount. Yeah, so and we set them up here, performance, and you can actually use pressure to do it like in this manner as well. But if you want to say you want to set up this, look here, I'm pressing the quick performance and selecting a performance, and then I slide this, and you can see we're actually lighting this up. I'm now in performance mode, so that's what we see, how it's lighting up. And then it sticks there. I select another one and I select that amount. So these are scenes, sorry, these are performances, and they can coexist. But if I now press them while I'm in performance mode, they lose their value and they go back to 0. Another cool thing, if you're using this and the value sticks to a certain value, then you can quickly mute them. Now we don't see it reflected here, but you can mute this whole modulation just like that, which is very convenient. Okay, so how do we set this up? Well, first of all, we go to performance mode page, and we need to have an idea. So let's listen to what I've got going on here. So this is a funky little pattern. So the question now is, how would we like to change this with a knob? What parameters could be useful to do this to? Well, I usually think about it as how to change the energy of the music. So if I want to dampen the energy, if I want to shorten, make it more snappy, if I want to kind of make it more aggressive or stuff like that. But you could also think of it as highlighting just one element. How do I want the hi-hat to get wacky? How do I want the melody to stick out, or stuff like that? And so let's see what we got here, the kit. Okay, let's start with making everything short and see what happens. Okay, so how do we do that? Well, first of all, we need to go to the performance page, and without doing anything, I'm playing the performances. But if I want to select a slot, I need to do function and press that slot, the pad. So now I've selected pad number 1, and when I press it now, it turns white. Now I'm in edit mode, so I press this, it's selected. Now I'm not, well, I could still play it sort of, but I'm in edit mode, so that's why it's green like this. And I need to select the track that I want to change. Track, kick drum, for instance. And now when I hold it and I change something, that value, like you can see, it's like a parameter lock here. Well, let's isolate the track first. I'm gonna solo this track like this and go back to the performance again and edit. Okay, so now it's just a kick drum. So if now this amount, let's see, it's actually, yeah. Can you hear the difference? Well, it's subtle. Let's tune it down as well. Maybe do something else. Go to the amp, reduce the overdrive, and make it, maybe increase the overdrive. I don't know. Okay, it is now shorter, right? You can hear that. Okay, let's move on to the next one. I'm going to unmute this. Let's take the snare as well. Solo this just to hear what we're doing. And I'm still editing this one, this performance like this, function and this. But we're going to edit that track. So the track snare track is selected, and also performance 1 is selected. You need to keep those separate in your head. Make 2 little folders in your mind. Say, okay, I'm editing performance 1, but now I'm making a change to track 1 on track 2 on performance 1. You just need to work it into your brain. Okay, so now, okay, that is pretty like tough. Like, so if I, for instance, reduce the overdrive and maybe go to the engine there, reduce body, maybe sample, reduce the sample volume. Okay. Now make it more soft, like, and then maybe the amp, I add some reverb. And make it more softer. Yeah, okay, that's maybe the hi-hat should also be like affected. So yeah, I can listen to that. I can isolate this without muting and soloing. So let's go there, select the hi-hat. We're still editing this one, and now let's do something to that hi-hat. Source, tune it down, make it even shorter, and filter some filtering there to soften it. Okay, so yeah, we're making progress, right? We're making like an expression here. Okay, so we've got these two tracks as well. Sorry. Let's say that this moves to the left and this moves to the right. Maybe that's fun. Maybe, or maybe it's boring. Let's find out. So function and this, track and this. So this scene is still of performance, and this track. So you can see things are getting red here. It means that this track, I keep mixing them up. Yeah, this performance has these red tracks affected in some way. So this, let's change the panning to the left on this, and on this one change the panning to the right. And also introduce some reverb. Yeah, and this as well. And maybe we can even make like let's see, hold, change this. It's not a good idea. Let's see. Yeah, it's pretty nice. Okay, so this is now all that we've made now is in performance 1. Yeah. So now if I go into here and I press this gradually, I'm going to make those changes. But also if I'm not in the performance menu, maybe I'm in the mute menu, I can do this. I can select the performance and then use this knob. Yeah, if you're paying attention, you can see the performance LED lighting up, indicating that there is a performance there that has been changed. Yeah. Okay, so okay, let's make another one. Performance. Now I'm not going to tell you what I'm doing. I'm just going to do it again. Like a reverb. Let's go here to the effect. Okay, and maybe the compressor as well. Okay, that could be fun. Okay, so now we've made a few changes now to the overall sound of the mix and stuff. Now I'm mostly pressing these, and that's a cool way to kind of interact with this. But you can also, if you're right here, for instance, select. Now all of them are active at the same time. crazy. It's all happening, all of them are active at the same time. And now I can do function and mute. Now they're back to 0. And while they're 0, I could kind of reset them like this if I want to. And now, yeah. Or I could do this. I could, let's be aggressive again. And then I could go to performance and just press them. And the settings are reset. So a typical way to use it is to highlight something, like 1, 2, and maybe use this one. Maybe this one. Just a high. 1, 2, 3, and mute. So, for instance, if you're working with a vocalist, it might be a good idea to have like a performance where you can leave space for the vocals, because when you're playing on your own, you might maximize all the frequencies and do crazy stuff, and then the vocalist wants to cut in, then you can have like a performance ready for that to kind of leave space. So for instance, perhaps the first performance here could be an illustration of that. Like first you're kind of aggressive here, there's really no natural space for the vocals, but then you do this. Yeah. That could be really practical if you are working with vocalists or other instrumentalists, and it's easy when you're working alone. It's easy to populate the whole spectrum, and it's too busy. When I'm setting up performances, it's mostly about leaving space or maximizing. Yeah. So there you go. There's a performance. And yeah, I think it works really well. Yeah, it's good. Yeah, I think that's about it, and I'm gonna make more videos about it. I'm not in my studio right now, so I can't show you much as much as I'd like, but I think I'll make another or a few other tutorials on the new Analog Rytm, especially with the control inputs and stuff. Okay, so this is Cuckoo. Very nice to hang out with you, and if you want to hang out with me again and you appreciate these videos that I make, feel free to donate over at my Patreon site. It helps me tremendously to keep going, and also there is a web store that you can visit. There's links here somewhere, and many of my patches are up there as well. So if you like this Patreon donation thing where you help finance my videos as a subscription based kind of donation, then go for Patreon. It doesn't have to be much, just a couple of bucks every time I make a video like this. Very much appreciated. And yeah, cool. This is Cuckoo, and let's stay curious, everybody.